Hello and welcome. We are talking about what to wear to church today. If you want to start going to traditional Latin Mass, you don't have to look like this, but this is just the style I like, and I'm going to talk a lot about why I prefer dressing like this. I will have a lot of pictures and examples to show you, but I want to do a quick intro to this. If you're new to the series, I'm doing a series on all year long. Every Sunday I'm uploading videos where I explain basically the traditionalist mindset, the traditional Western culture mindset. And I am a traditional Roman Catholic, so it's heavily from this perspective. And traditional Roman Catholicism is arguably the bedrock of Western civilization. So it is a very authentic perspective to have on this particular topic. So if you're interested in learning more about becoming more traditional in your daily life, please subscribe and hit the notification bells for more videos like this. I upload them on Sundays at noon. I also upload a bunch of vlogs throughout the week, and I do share some articles and other philosophical things that I enjoy. So stick around. Thank you for watching and welcome to the family. We are talking today about externals at church. If you want to talk about the internals, we already talked about that last week. So don't come in the comments saying what really matters is the state of your heart, because I already explained that in the last video. You know what also really matters? The way you look, okay? It's not for nothing, because there is that story in the Bible, right? Who gets thrown out into the street for showing up at the wedding feast not dressed the right way? After he had invited the poorest of the poor to come, he still expected them to dress properly for a wedding feast. Okay? It's just one of those things. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out the first few times you're going, or even for the first year you're going. No one is expecting this of you. This is just something, this is between you and God, all right? And your own journey of becoming more traditional. So, with that said, don't take this video as a, judgmental, I don't know, snobbish looking down on people that don't dress the same way. That's not what this is about, okay? If that is what it's making you feel like, then that is your feelings about this topic, all right? That's not me putting those feelings on you. And I would never put those feelings on anybody. I personally love this way of dressing. It really elevates my spirit. It elevates my heart and soul so that I can feel very proper and authentic at church. This exterior mode of dressing really coincides well with my interior state. It makes me feel normal, let's say, because my internals match my externals. There is a similarity and a symbiosis between the two. And the externals serve to reinforce the internals, to remind myself of my dignity, of my worth, of my value in God's eyes. Because this is what this time is, this public offering sacrifice publicly together as a community every Sunday. That is what this tradition is, offering sacrifice to God. It's a very, very sacred, very important public community activity, offering sacrifice to God. And to do that is a very more formal occasion. I mean, it's not black tie or anything like that, but it is stately. It is important. So it carries a certain gravitas with it, a certain respectability and honor with it. So we should be dressing to match that, and if for no other reason to remind ourselves of what our interior disposition at this time ought to be like. Because they always say, dress for the job you want, not the job you have, because the clothes make the man, right? So this goes along with that. The clothes just serve as a reinforcement for the interior mode of being that you are aiming for as a traditionalist. Okay, so we have to talk about modesty, because that's the one thing that everyone hates to talk about. But here's what I'm going to say. The men, if you look at them, they're always dressed with long sleeves, extra layers, a coat, and a shirt, and then they have trousers that are loose fitting and go all the way to the floor, they're not. And then you have women that show up in skirts that are showing most of their thigh and cleavage and their whole shoulders. They're dressed for the beach or something, and the man standing next to them is fully clothed. and it does not match, okay? So a lot of the times the emphasis for modesty is always placed on the women in the group because the men are already being modest, all right? The men have their natural instinct of what dignity is, and they're already following it instinctively. The women have sort of lost this sense of dignity. They've lost the sense of propriety and modesty because the modern world has just stripped them of all the foundation of the social foundation and structure that we used to have that taught us these things. So there is the sexual revolution was the biggest culprit for doing this. So women are quite confused and their sense of dignity is confused. So this video is here to help you if you're confused. Because I know I was when I started entering into tradition. I'd always dressed well for Mass. I was raised Catholic, but I became a Traditionalist in college. And there is a slight difference that I noticed, because just regular Catholic, they don't really care about all these little details. But traditional Catholic, people notice, all right? It is scandalizing to people if they see your whole arm and, your knees or your thighs or cleavage. It does offend their sense of propriety. It actually shocks people, okay? There's an emotional reaction to it. Whereas in, the Novus Ordo or the regular Catholic, people are kind of, blind to it. They're sort of like unaware. I don't know what it is. But the Traditionalists are internally very sensitive to this topic, okay? So out of respect for other Traditionalists in the pews, out of respect for the people who value this culture, this way of life, when you are going as an outsider looking in, be sure to show proper respect for their culture, okay? Proper respect for their customs and their sensibilities and their sense of proprieties, okay? And they don't need to be the same as yours. And maybe someday it'll make sense to you. Like now it makes so much sense to me, but at first it was a big struggle for me to make sense of it, for me to understand it. So now that it does make sense to me, I have this video to kind of show you my tips and how I have come to understand how to dress traditionally in a way that is modern and not stuck in the past. I think that's key. It has to be living and modern and not stuck in the past. And contrary to some opinions out there, this is not an outfit from the 1950s, okay? This is not a throwback to vintage days, although I do love some vintage stuff. I don't know if you can tell. This is perfectly acceptable in the upper echelons of society for church now, in the modern world, who aren't living in the past. This is just this is how elegant, affluent women dress for church. And I'm going to give you so many examples. Just you wait. I will share with you all of the royals that I follow for their style tips, and also all of the influencers that I follow that I think are super elegant and usually have things, inspirations that they share that really apply to that you could use for a traditional Mass, for going to traditional church. All right, so okay, so I touched on modesty, but I'll show a little picture on what literally it means. You need to have, here's the line, here's the gray area. This is the gray area for the length of your sleeve. Definitely here, preferably here, but no one's gonna care if it's in here, in this area, unless you're like in Vatican City or something. No cleavage. This is a bit low for some places. Some places might prefer a little higher, all right? I think that this is perfectly acceptable, okay? We're not showing any cleavage. It's not vulgar. Hem length that goes to past the knees, mid-calf, I think is just elegant. I think it has a good balance to the whole figure. Good structure. That is going to be the basic outline, if you will, for the modesty standards. Some bonus points, if you're feeling extra traditional, are hose or tights or, pantyhose, stockings, That is very traditional, to have your legs covered by something, even if it's sheer and looks like your skin tone. It's still more proper to have your skin covered. I know it's silly, but it's like a subtle little difference, subtle little detail. These subtleties are really noticed. People pick up on the details because this tradition is so detail oriented. You'll notice, like, the art is very detail oriented, and the music is very, very elegant and subtle. There's so many subtleties. So you'll start getting, your senses will start becoming more sensitive to all of these everywhere. Not just in the way you dress, but in the art in the church and the music in the church and things like that. You're going to notice a lot more flavor, a lot more subtlety. All right, so yeah, that's what it is for women. Pretty much everyone knows what it is for men, but I will cover some of that as well. So without further ado, let's get started and check out all of the great pictures I have for you for examples. So starting off, we have some simple tweed style dresses, and as you can see, the models are Asian. This is known as Korean style. Korea has like a really nice conservative style of clothing. So if you're looking online for dresses, try typing in Korean style. This is a tweed dress with jacket, and another one. These are all you can look for Korean conservative style. The other subculture online that you can check out are Russian designers. Russian designers have some really good taste and some very elegant dresses that are just beautiful. I also search for midi length and anything with a collar or long sleeve or pleats. That's kind of something I look for. And I do a lot of shopping on Shein. I know that's controversial, but I'm not super rich, so I'm not buying a bunch of expensive dresses. I'm getting them from Shein. This one's a little too tight. The last one is a little too short. This one might even be a little short, but it's a nice style. Here is an example of a pair of flats that are really cute. And if you are not comfortable with dresses and you want to do pants, there are some classic options. Now, let's borrow from the Queen. She is our best example. And here's Crown Princess Mary of Denmark. She'll come up a lot. She looks a lot like Kate Middleton, but she's not. There she is in a tweed dress. There she is on a boat with Queen Mathilde. Very elegant ladies. These are modern ladies. These are not... this is Queen Maxima of Netherlands and Queen Rania of Jordan. There's another one of Queen Rania. Look at these beautiful dresses. That's her leaving church. This is, her name is Flora Vesterberg. I don't think she's royal. But Zanuska Mowat is the girl next to her. They were going to Prince Philip's funeral. This is Princess Catherine, of course, and Princess Charlotte. Of course, we have to have some of Princess Catherine of Wales. I just absolutely love her style now, when she has a lot of these midi-length dresses. Very elegant. Queen Letizia of Spain. She looks a lot like Queen Rania. She's not. This is Princess Grace of Monaco, Grace Kelly, with her daughter, Princess Caroline. And here's an example of fully dressed for church, hats, gloves, overcoats, heels. Here's a simple traditional dress cut, which is so hard to find nowadays. But the emphasis is on femininity, elegance, delicacy. Here are the influencers. Victoria Fox. I think she's Russian. She has an amazing style. Just all the details. I love it. And Lydia Elise Millen is a YouTuber. You need to check her out if you don't already. She is very elegant. She does shop a lot on Amazon and more affordable places, but she is very affluent. So some of the things, you just take the inspiration. Hannah Strafford Taylor is another one. You might not be able to afford the actual outfits, but the style you can pick up on. This is Julia Berolzheimer. She used to be known as Gal Meets Glam online. She now has, I think, 2 daughters, and I absolutely love her taste in clothing. Then, of course, we have Anna Bay, who is a YouTuber who gives a lot of her fashion opinions and advice. This is her on her wedding day at a courthouse, and she does have pretty good taste for the most part. And then, of course, Amal Clooney, married to George Clooney. And here is one Etsy store I know of, Heart My Closet. She has a lot of vintage ones. Of course, Ivanka Trump, very traditional conservative style. Mary Orton, I love her sense of humor. If you follow her on TikTok, she's hilarious. And also very stylish, very sarcastic, very enjoyable. All right, historic
modern Catholic culture. So these are modern because they exist in the modern era. Like this was probably taken a couple of years ago, I think, during COVID. But anything after like the 1900s is considered modern. So here we have some, good Protestant families with their 2.3 children, and they look quite elegant, very nice. And we're getting into the Catholic families here. This is what a typical Catholic family looked like on Easter Sunday. So well done. Look at those hats. Everyone is so cute. And then here is a picture of girls with probably their school teacher. And let's not forget about the poor, okay? Not everyone was living in this lifestyle that we have nowadays. So don't forget that. Here's a little boy playing Mass in his schoolroom. And here is a good traditional Catholic family. See how many kids they have. They just had twins. And here's another traditional Catholic family. You can see what they're wearing. So here's a Spanish style. That's a Spanish mantilla. Also here being worn by Jackie Kennedy. Notice she does not have sleeves, so the culture is starting to change. So here, current affluent church culture. These are what people are wearing today to church. Yes, they're royals. Yes, they're high-to-do, whatever. They have a good sense of what is proper for these occasions, okay? So we can definitely use them as inspiration. Here's another one of Ivanka Trump with her family. Here are the names of the children. If you want to look them up specifically, like if you have boys or girls their age, you can get an idea of what they wear. I have done a video on classic children's wear for girls, and I will link that in the description, where I share my tips and tricks for finding this style of clothing for children. So yeah, let's move on. These are the princesses of Spain, and they are not twins. They are very close in age. This was them when they were younger. They're now much older, but there are a lot of pictures. Their mother has amazing taste. That's Queen Letizia. Okay, this is, I forget who this is. I think they are Danish. I think they're Danish royals. Leaving church. I love this picture because look at the kids just running around being normal kids. Just because they're dressed up doesn't mean they're not going to act like normal kids. So even these royals have to wrangle their children. Don't forget that. These are not, no one has perfectly behaved children. That will be a future video, of course. Pregnancy and maternity clothes, that's what we're on to now. This is Pippa Middleton, Kate's sister, Catherine's sister. I'm trying to get used to calling her Catherine now. But oh, here, I love the way Princess Catherine dresses her family in coordinating colors, and that's something that I do instinctively try to do as well. I just enjoy the look of everyone sort of matching. If not matching, at least coordinating. It's just a little more satisfying to the senses. Alright, I'm not going to touch too much on men, but you get an idea of what men traditionally wore back in the day. Suit, dress shirt tucked in, dress pants, dress shoes, tie and jacket are optional. That's it. It's that simple. This says, please dress modestly. This is if you didn't get a chance to read it when I did it before. You don't want sleeveless, low neckline, skirt above the knee, tight fitting, exposed midriff, see-through shorts, exposed back, offensive print, none of that. So what does normal mean? Our sense of normalcy nowadays is totally off because modernity has just ruined our sense of the sacred, our sense of our own dignity, our sense of our own worth. But here are some modern pictures of traditional communities and what they're actually wearing. And I just found them online. I have no idea who these people are, but the pictures are online, so public domain. And these are just to give you an idea of what you'll expect if you walk into church. And for good measure, I have added some pictures of my own family. So you can see this is a rainy day. There's my girls in the basement before church on a snowy day. Oh, baptism of David. My father's name is James. My brother's name is James. Here we are at Christmas one year. Easter with my sister Bridget. She's in the purple. And she took this picture. This was our Christmas card picture one year. So here we are going into church. This is what it looks like. Oh, there I am in my hat. See that? Little David looking cute. Behind the scenes, what it looks like to go to church. Please enjoy dressing up and thank you for subscribing.